Welcome, Wildcats, to Unit 4, where we begin a look at attitudes, stereotyping, and discrimination. Let's begin with a discussion on attitudes. What is an attitude? Oh, she has an attitude. Well, it was referred to as a posture of the mind. A posture, how you stand, right? But of the mind, a positive or negative evaluation of an object is the definition as we've come to know what is an attitude. We have a positive or negative evaluation of people's, things, events, and issues. Your attitudes guide your actions and your responses to the world. So that is the nature of attitudes. What determines your attitudes? 3 sources: your beliefs, your feelings, and certainly your past behaviors. Now, values are certainly also closely associated with attitudes. A value is an enduring belief about important life goals. An example might be, I value physical fitness, therefore I have a positive attitude about taking a walk. The importance of a value will determine the extent in which it influences the attitudes. How is an attitude formed? How is an attitude maintained? Well, did you know that mere exposure can lead to a positive attitude? So, the more you see it, the more positive it becomes. You develop more positive feelings towards objects and individuals the more you're exposed to them. You might remember seeing something and go, oh my, I'd never get that. Before long, you've seen it so often, you're buying it. You like it. How are your attitudes maintained? Well, they can be maintained and formed through classical conditioning. You can learn through your association. This certainly plays a role in prejudice. Opera conditioning is another way our attitudes are formed and maintained. Behavior is strengthened if followed by a reinforcement and weakened if followed by a punishment. So you can operantly be conditioned. If behavior is rewarded, it's likely to be repeated, and such a behavior then becomes paired with an attitude. We also have self-perception theory. We often infer our attitudes by observing our own behavior toward the attitude object. For example, if we saw that we looked at our own behavior and had Chinese food the last 3 Sundays, we might go, we really have a positive attitude and like Chinese food. When do attitudes predict behavior? And to what extent do attitudes influence our behavior? Well, certainly a strongly held attitude are the ones that are most influential in determining your behavior. In attitude strength, well, what makes your attitude strong? Certainly your personal involvement, inquiring more information about it, and direct experience. Now, we also have what we call cognitive consistency. That's when we see consistency in the way we think. So we're going to kind of make sure that our attitudes represent how we think. So you might have cognitive dissonance, and that is proposed that although we may generally appear logical in our thinking and behavior, we often engage in irrational and maladaptive behavior in order to maintain cognitive consistency. It explains why we spend so much time rationalizing our behavior, right? So for example, I don't think people should steal, and then someone offers me something that I know came off something called hot, and I think, well, someone's gonna buy it if not me. It allows for me to maintain my cognitive consistency, right? In attitude, well, with attitudes, I just want you to know that it's the only thing that you really have full responsibility over. We can never really have control over our circumstances, but we can always control our attitude. It's about accepting full responsibility. It's our choice. Your attitude is your choice. You choose your attitude. You have to recognize that. Whether we want to or not, we choose it. Sometimes I choose a negative attitude. A positive attitude is a decision we make moment to moment. And that is an introduction to attitudes, how they're formed, how they're maintained, and how they're strengthened.